We welcome you to another live edition of the Sports Box, brought to you by our friends at CrowdPlay. Download the free CrowdPlay app today and use the box at sign up for 10 points. And here we go.
Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome to the show that looks like it's going to be a little bit smoother today. Only on the Sports Box Network. I am Hampton Michaeletta, along with Tony Quigley and the newly acquired Anthony Amendola. Media. What's up, Ant? What's going on?
What's up, guys? Morning.
I was going to call you Danny Amendola for some reason. What the hell's going on today? Anyway,
I'll take it.
We will get to all of that. We know Brian is not here today, but we will run this show as normal, rolling along like we normally do, give you some great picks, and obviously talk about our boys over at CrowdPlay. Make sure you are downloading the app on the Google Play and Apple App Store. Download CrowdPlay, put in the box, and sign up and get 10 free points. You're going to need them because it's fun and it's tough. But, Tony, we're going to do a lot of stuff today, so we're going to make it happen. Let me get this up for you guys, a little clicker for you. So obviously we watched some football today or this week, and let's get to the first game.
Exactly. We're watching football. It's good to have people on the show who actually watch the games, you know, and actually what the hell they're talking about.
They can give their knowledge. We'll give our picks, and we got some good stuff going. So we'll talk about the Los Angeles Chargers and their big win over the Las Vegas Raiders, 30-27. Tony, we'll start with you.
Listen, that was a fun game. If you were a Justin Herbert owner in fantasy circles, I mean, It kind of went how it was crazy. I mean, it was one of the more entertaining games to watch, overtime, everything like that. I mean, outcome, you know, the Raiders have some issues on defense, you know. Another game that we talked about last week where Anthony Lynn almost blew it, you know. So is it a game that the Chargers needed to win? Not really. It's a game that Raiders needed to win, and they came out and laid an egg. You know, I'm not going to say they let an egg, but they didn't get the job done. I mean, Mariota came in, tried to write that offense, you know, gave Darren Waller owners, you know, a nice afternoon or evening or whatever you want to call it. But, I mean, you're looking at a Raiders team now that's going to be struggling under Mariota. And bottom line is John Gruden gets his wish, right? He wanted Mariota. Ever since he was a huge Mariota fan. He wanted to come out and you know, the way he was talking and fawning over this guy, you would think he was the next great thing, but obviously that didn't work out. But he looked pretty good. But, you know, the Chargers and Justin Herbert, they just made a couple plays, and they had the holy roller at the end of the game that was interesting, you know, and kind of had flashbacks. And if you guys aren't familiar with the holy roller, these are the same two teams that originally happened to where you can't advance the fumble on the fourth downs. You know, a lot of fun, a lot of excitement, and, you know, it had some really good fantasy implications, you know, and this is championship week, guys. So let's go. It's a big week.
Let's go. I'm in it.
Ant, thoughts?
Yeah, it was just, you know, I don't know if the game would have went any different if Carr stayed in there. It was unfortunate to see him get hurt. Yeah, the Raiders, I mean, defensively, they get no pass rush. It was going to be an easy day for Herbert anyway. Yeah, it's just watching the Raiders right now. They're struggling on defense, no pass rush, back ends a little banged up, not that good. So, and yeah, John Gruden, hey, is he a mediocre coach? What kind of coach is he?
Yeah, listen, I'm not a big Gruden fan at all. I haven't ever been. Think he's overrated. He's overpaid. You know, so you're looking at.
Yeah, it's hard to come back in the league after the time he spent out in the broadcast booth and come back to coach in this era. I mean, I've never been a Gruden fan. Yeah, he won a Super Bowl with Tampa Bay, and I'm happy for that. But after that, he just really didn't draft well and didn't really keep that team afloat, and that's the reason he got fired. But to the game itself, I'll tell you, if you're a Chargers fan, you've got to be happy because and tell you what, you better send that doctor from the Chargers a Christmas card, because if not for the punctured lung that Tyrod Taylor got, unfortunately, by accident, during the season, you wouldn't see Herbert this early in the season and this much of them. But I'll tell you, you're a Chargers fan, you got to be excited. They got, you know, a quarterback that's really growing with the system. You got good, you know, receivers. You got a dog in the picture there. But like Anthony said, the Raiders, the defense is decimated. They didn't look good at all. They couldn't stop the Chargers on defense at all. Offense was kind of blasé. I mean, Aguilar's having a great year. But other than that, I good win for the Chargers, good up and coming win. I'm not big on Gruden, so we'll leave it at that.
Yeah, I mean, you're especially talking about when you look at the Chargers, the receiving core was absolutely decimated. I mean, Keenan Allen played, but he didn't play. Mike Williams played, but he really didn't play. I mean, and Justin Herbert's out there doing some amazing things with backup third string receivers, and you got a lot of people in Philly crying about when their receivers get hurt. But you see a young kid like Herbert doing stuff that Wentz couldn't do. So it's going to be, no excuses issues.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And next week, the Chargers face off at home against Denver, and the Raiders face Miami in Las Vegas. So the next game up, the Buffalo Bills went into Denver and just totally took apart the Broncos. The Broncos are struggling this year, 5-9. They've been up and down, back and forth. I thought they would hang a little bit easier, a little bit better in this game. But listen, give Buffalo credit. They had to do something going into this game. They had to win. They knew what they were up against. They knew what was on the line. And listen, they took care of business.
Yeah, listen, the Bills, Josh Allen, I mean, that kid is looking like the real deal. I mean, he is fun to watch. I mean, there's a ton of quarterback improvement that he has to make, is just being a pure passer and that kind of, the basic stuff. But as far as being a football player, super fun to watch. He's getting a job done. He's utilizing tons of receivers. I mean, he runs the ball. I mean, he's right now, one of the more exciting young quarterbacks, and he's, surpassed some of these other guys that, like a Jared Goff or a Carson Wentz that, were high, more highly touted than them when they started their careers, and now he just went off. The addition of Diggs really helped them. And you're looking at a Broncos team that really has nothing to play for, and they went in the game pretty banged up, and this Bills team was hungry. They clinched the division, AFC East for the first time in a long time since Tom Brady and the Legion of Doom over there in the New England, or whatever you want to call them, the Dark Empire, that Belichick runs. So impressive win for the Bills. They came out, took care of business, and Josh Allen put a lot of players and people in their fantasy championship this week by a big performance already.
Yeah, I love watching Josh Allen. That offense is dynamic. They move the ball around to different people. Even though Diggs has got 100 receptions, he's still moving the ball around to guys like Dawson Knox. So I love watching them. And really important about the Bills right now is that their defense is rounding into form like it was last year. They weren't really playing well through the middle of the season. They had some injuries, but now their defense is rounding into form, and this team's really a complete team. So I really trust the Bills because their defense is coming around. That offense is going to score on anybody. They're that talented, and Josh Allen's that talented.
Yeah, and that's good you said that, Ant, because I was going to bring it up too. I mean, Denver, even though they're 5-9, they have some talent on that team with Noah Fant, Melvin Gordon. They got Lindsey. They got some guys that can do something on offense, and that Bills defense just stabilized them and shut them down. And that's what you would look for at the end of the year, getting ready to go into playoffs. You want to see these teams get ready to go. And Buffalo looks really, really good right now. I mean, they look like they could really make a move pretty far in the AFC. I'm going to be interested to see that. But Josh Allen, I've been on his wagon since he came in the league. I thought he was a good player to begin with. Again, like Tony said, he's going to have to learn a couple things. But listen, he's on these rookies coming in the league right now are on great pace. I mean, him, Herbert, they really look really good. Coming in from Sean Spellman. Josh Allen's different style quarterback. He's very strong arm on run, accurate, and he can run. His short game passing is what can hurt them, but he is legit. Yeah, but he's got to. And the thing with a running quarterback, you got to know when to run and know when to throw. You don't want to be a run heavy guy because that's only going to catch up to you in a couple of years.
Listen, when you're built like Josh Allen, and my boy Spellman knows something about strong arm quarterbacks because he has a cannon. But when you're looking at Josh Allen and his trajectory, I mean, maybe Kyle or Murray, maybe Pat Mahomes. I mean, there's not many quarterbacks out there that are just super fun to watch as Josh Allen is right now, and he's getting it done. And he does have that black stain because of the playoffs, debacle last year. He looked like he was going out there to play schoolyard football, but he's changed a little bit. And he's developed, man, and it's he's turned into a special player.
Yep.
Really happy to see it.
If they get any kind of running game, going, they're going to be they're going to hang with the Chiefs. they don't run the ball too well, but if they could get it going, the Bills are a problem.
You got to slow the Chiefs down,
Well,
though.
they
Can do. Yep, I agree.
they actually did run the ball pretty well. They had 182 yards rushing last.
Well, yeah,
night,
in this game, but
right, it has to be more consistent.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
But that's the other thing too, though. One of their Achilles heels about their defense, and it's been all year, is their rushing defense. The Denver and Melvin Gordon particularly had a pretty nice day against them. I mean, they rushed for 140 yards as a team. I'm trying to let me pull up what Gordon did. Gordon averaged 5.5 yards a carry in a blowout. You know, he put up 61 yards, 2 touches.
Yeah, but Toad, you watch that game. Throughout the last
Mhm.
5 minutes of the game, just gave up. They were running draw, handing the ball off. A lot of those were junk yards, I believe. But
yeah, but that was Lindsey that was getting them carries, though. I think, Ant. You know, Lindsey and Gordon both had 11 carries. You know, because Gordon did have that first half touchdown, and yeah, you know, and little dump offs and stuff like that. But one of my buddies called me up, you know, stressing over, you know, Melvin Gordon or Rod Higgins, or you know, just stressing about Gordon. I was like, play Gordon. He's the best. He was the guy's best option. Bill's rush defense isn't the greatest, and listen. You give me my flex play of Melvin Gordon with 60 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 4 receptions in PPR. You can't ask for a better day, you know, against a Bills team that they got clobbered by. So, you know, let's go. You know.
Yeah, I appreciate Noah Fant coming along. He helped me yesterday, so good start.
What did he get yesterday? I missed that.
He ended up getting over 20 points. He had 68 and a touchdown, 8 receptions.
8 catches, 68 and a touch. Yeah, I got Fant in one.
Yeah.
I only got Fant in one league. But you know, thankfully.
So next week, Buffalo heads to New England on Monday night to play the Patriots team, who is desperate. We will get to them. And Denver is on the road at the Chargers. The next game was probably, I thought was going to be a little bit lopsided. But listen, Carolina made it a game. Carolina, to their defense, played really, really well and had an opportunity to win this game. But unfortunately, came up a little short.
Big Bills Mafia.
Teddy's the cover machine.
Yeah.
Well, I had the Packers -8, so and I had them straight, and I had them in a parlay, so it was kind of like you know, but yeah, I don't know what that line closed at, but you know, got that tasty push. This Packers game was a little bit underwhelming. You know, I mean they jumped out to a big first half lead. It was 21-3 at halftime. And then it kind of just was like, you know, they took the second half off. So, you know, I'm not going to look a ton into it. You know, Packers got the job done. You know, Panthers are going the other way. But, you know, if you're better and you had that 8.5, then you're in trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with Tony. The Packers kind of packed it in. And they were just nonchalant throughout the second half. Their run game got going. Once again, if they could run the ball, they're going to be super dangerous. I had Jones, so he helped me out again. Jones and Fant starting off the fantasy week strong. But yeah, I stayed away from that game. I didn't really.
Devontae Adams owners aren't happy, that's for sure.
Yeah, Devontae Adams took a big dip yesterday.
You know what? I think that the Panthers did a good job of covering him, but then you know they let the run get away from him a little bit. So that's the two-headed monster you have with Green Bay. They can do both. They can pass Devontae Adams and gets loose, and then you got to shut down Aaron Jones, which is tough. So Green Bay again, they're going to be, you know, they're 11-3 for a reason. They're one of the better teams in the NFC, and I think Rodgers having a great year. I think it's the third year he's put together 40 touchdowns or better. I mean, that's an accomplishment for this team. So next week you got Tennessee on the road at Green Bay, and Carolina goes on the road at the Washington football team. So with that being said, we covered 3. Now let's get into the new lineup this week. So you talk about the 5-8 San Francisco 49ers heading to the 4-9 Dallas Cowboys at 1 o'clock. San Francisco in this is given 3 and a hook. 45 is the total. Tony, we'll go to you, being a Dallas fan that you are. Are you still on the notion of the Brian Atard logic of Dallas should just throw the whole season away now at this point?
Well, first of all, that's not Brian Atard's logic. I mean, people have been having that. You know, so let's not credit him for anything. You know, Jesus.
I'll take that back.
All right. No, yeah. I mean, well, see, here's the thing. Like, obviously, in practicality, neither of these teams really should win this game, right? I mean, it's just kind of common sense. But the reality of the situation is, and I think people like the aforementioned Atard don't kind of get it that these guys aren't going out there to tank. There's no way you could play an NFL football game. Andy Dalton is a free agent next year. He's playing for a contract. There's half a dozen guys on the Cowboys defense that are playing just to make the team for next week or next season. Same thing with the 49ers. They were decimated by injuries this year. They got a lot of guys stepping up that are trying to play, for their next contract too. So there's no such thing as tanking. Would the Cowboys be beneficial by not winning this game? Yes, because nobody from the NFC East really should be trying to make the playoffs. I mean, it's just a ridiculousness. Although, if you did look, they have one of the best records as an overall conference, but I think that has a lot to do with schedule balance in the last couple of weeks. I think they have one of the NFC East has the best win-loss percentage. But with that being said, Cowboys most likely will win this game behind. I mean, I'm not laying 3.5. You got Nick Mullins, Andy Dalton, neither are great. Ezekiel Elliott's banged up. He doesn't look good. He's not supposed to play much this week at all. Mike McCarthy came out and already said that he's a little sore. He's regressed from the week before. So I think Tony Pollard might get a big play. Passing game for the Cowboys matches up okay against the 49ers secondary. The key is, though, 49ers running game. Jeff Wilson Jr. and Raheem Moser, and Moser's not even on the injury report this week, so he should be fully, full go. What's going to work with them? And they could actually effectively run the ball. So I expect Moser to have a big game. I expect Brandon Ayuk, who's looked really good. Deebo Samuel is out, I believe. So he's kind of like their secret, like their jack of all trades. So when you're looking at that, Ayuk, Moser, big game. I'd be, the point total in this game, what do you have it at? 45? Mm-hmm. I think you're going to tend to see it over because I think Dallas is a team that's pretty much, they got the talent on offensive end that could score, and they can't stop their run. So that's a perfect nightmare for a nice 45 over and against the worst run defense. So I think 49ers run the ball strong, and it's going to be good. And I don't know what Zeke's going to bring. He hasn't really brought much, and he's banged up. And it looks like it's pretty much it's a lost season for him that he probably wants to forget. So,
yeah, I agree with Tony. No one's really playing to lose these games, especially in the East. I mean, technically, these guys are all still in it, so the Cowboys are still playing. And I kind of lean the Cowboys today. I kind of saw this line and I was like, whoa. I mean, I don't think the 3.5 home dog. I'm rolling with Dallas today. I think they're going to win, and it's probably it's going to be a money line bet if I do it. Get that value.
Yeah, no, and I agree with you too. I saw that too. That Dallas is getting 3.5 at home, and they have the better talent on this team. Although the running game, like Tony said, could be a factor for San Francisco if they can get that rolling. But I like Dallas as well. I think Dallas, they're not playing to lose. They're going to play to win this game. So, and next week they play Philadelphia, which is going to be interesting in Dallas. And San Francisco is going to play in Arizona, which is meaningless, but Arizona needs that game. So,
what Nick Gonzalez just put up about benching Zeke in fantasy, absolutely. I have that exact same decision in one league where I'm benching Zeke, and it hurts too because you spend a top 5 pick on Zeke most likely.
Yeah,
but I'm benching Zeke for Raheem Moser, so it's one of them calls where and as a Cowboys fan, Nick's a Cowboys fan, it definitely hurts you trying to do that, benching a top 3 pick, but he has not looked good. And if you have other options in the fantasy, absolutely, I would definitely go with bench Zeke.
You never thought you'd say that coming into this year that he'd bench Zeke in a fantasy league.
It's a tough one.
Yep. So the next game we have is
you're probably not in the playoffs if you had Zeke.
I was 12-1 in that league and number 1 seed.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I'm in my semifinals this week, so it's
actually both leagues. I had Zeke, I'm in the playoffs. But it's it's tough. You gotta do a lot of gymnastics on your roster.
Yeah. So we got the 9-4 Seattle Seahawks at the 6-7 and up and coming Washington football team At 1 o'clock, Seattle is given 6.5 on the road and 43 and a hook. Listen, Washington has played better. Their defense really looks like they're playing well. I mean, in the offense too. Maybe a little late in the year, but I don't know if I think Alex Smith is playing today. I didn't hear anything that he is out.
No, that's why it's 6.5.
Okay, he is out. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's right. They're going to start Haskins today. That's right. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting game. So Tone,
which Tone? We're both Tone, bud.
Oh, that's right.
Go ahead, Ant. Go ahead, Ant. I've been starting. You go. You go ahead.
Go ahead, Ant.
No. Yeah. Like I said, Alex Smith is not playing, and this line is telling you 6.5. He's not playing. I mean, how much confidence do you have in Dwayne Haskins? I mean, they didn't have any confidence in him in the beginning of the year. So, and once again, Gibson's out. It's going to be a tough game for Washington. I could see it being close throughout the game, but Seattle maybe pulling out at the end. Yeah, I can't go with Dwayne Haskins with anything right now.
Yeah, I mean, how can you look? The Washington defensive line is phenomenal. Deron Payne, Chase Young. I mean, listen, they're absolutely one of my favorite props today is the rush over in rushing yards for Russell Wilson, because that line of Washington is going to get at him. They're going to chase him out the pocket. He's going to have to move. And I think that rushing total, I don't remember off the top of my head what it was. Let me pull it up for you guys so I'm not mistaken here. But they're going to be chasing him all over the field. Do I have it? Why don't I have it? Russell Wilson is over 18.5 yards rushing. I'm taking that. That D line is going to be getting all over him, and he's got enough to move out. As far as the main line, Russell Wilson against Dwayne Haskins is one of the biggest mismatches that you're ever going to see. You know, I mean, that Washington team, you got to give them a lot of credit. They've shown some fight. Defense has been solid, but when you're talking about just having such inequity in the quarterback position, it's very hard to overcome that. I expect DK to take a lot of get a big home run over the top. I mean, another thing too, Antonio Gibson isn't playing for Washington. I'm not sure the weather in Washington. That's the only thing I think they could really hope for is like a nasty weather game where they just pound Peyton Barber and J.D. McKissick up the middle and just pray that the defense can stop them. But, you know, we've seen Seattle kind of play down to the competition. I don't think this is a game where they're going to play down to the competition. And I like Seattle. I like the cover. Our boy Joe D'Angelo said Seattle by 13. I like that 13-14. If you want to lay that, absolutely. You know why? Because this is a game that you could easily get that value from. I mean, that'll probably be like plus 230 if you get Seattle minus 13. So if you're looking for value, start-wise, Nick Gonzalez asked about start McKissick. I'm starting him in one league just because he's going to get volume and he's going to be the receiving threat out of the backfield. So especially if he's in PPR, start McKissick. Terry McLaurin, he did have a decent season with Dwayne Haskins last year. Haskins might be able to get him the ball. He might stare at him. So if you're looking at Seattle and their putrid secondary, McLaurin and McKissick would be the two guys out of that Washington offense that I look to start.
Go ahead, Ant. Oh, you started. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Go again, Ant. Go again.
No, you just keep going. That's fine. We love the knowledge, Anthony. That's why. So anyway, I agree with Tony. I think, Seattle coming into Washington, it's going to be a tough game for them. Seattle needs to keep on winning. I mean, they're playing well. They're 9-4. They need to keep on winning. And they got the horses. They got DK Metcalf. You got Carson, Hyde, Wilson. I love that bet, Tony, with the over. I think that's a total lock and a half. 18. It seems too easy, really. But Washington they're still struggling. Haskins stinks. And we'll just move on from there. So the Rams are at Seattle next week, and Carolina is at Washington next week. So now
I just text you my team that I made the playoffs with, that 12-1 team. Check it out.
Okay, I'll check it
out. So this is a game that obviously one of our hosts is going to be happy with this one. The 6-7 Chicago Bears at the 6-7 Minnesota Vikings. Vikings lost last week, considering they were on a roll against Tampa Bay. They lost. And Chicago had the rebirth of Mitch Trubisky last week. So we will start with Mr. Emilio. Ant, what do you think?
I don't know what to think, Mike. I mean, last week I didn't want them. Last week I didn't want them to win. They win. This week, I'm not feeling them. This week, I mean, the Vikings, they're playing well. I mean, if the Vikings should have beat Tampa Bay last week if they had a kicker. I know the Bears are banged up I know the Bears are super banged up in the secondary. They got 2 guys out. And how much confidence do I have in their offense? Not much. I don't know. I'm going to roll with the Bears today. Just good to go with the split because Minnesota beat them earlier in the year. But, at this point, I'll take a win. I'd like to see a win. Maybe they could sneak in. I'll take a sneak in the playoffs after such a disastrous middle of the season.
Yeah, that's that's not a bad way to look at it. I mean, you're kind of married to Trubisky, and I know our buddy Chris Fallon had a question for you back when we started with the show. So I want to put this up for you. So you want to see Trubisky play good, but this is a valid question because right now, Wentz is probably going to be available next year. He came out and complained that he don't want to be a backup. So I mean, would you take Wentz as an upgrade over Trubisky or Foles, or would you want to see Trubisky finally get it? Because Trubisky had some comments about the offense and the offense coordinator this week. I don't know if you heard them saying that they finally listened to him, which is kind of funny, And so what do you feel about this question?
Well, obviously, a year ago I would take Wentz in a heartbeat, but. Man, watching Wentz this year struggle was really hard. I mean, his boy D. Flip Chicago working with Trubisky. I know they have a real good relationship. It's tough, man. It's tough. I can't believe it. Like you're weighing the options right now because Mitch is not playing bad. Mitch runs the ball better. I don't want Wentz. I personally don't want Wentz. I think he's mentally weak. I think if something happens with Wentz, he just folds. And I've seen that this year, and it kind of pushes me away from Wentz.
I think the biggest thing that the differentiating factor for me with the Wentz thing is you have investment in Trubisky already. He doesn't make as much money as Wentz, which is not a bad thing. So if you cut bait for Trubisky, and Trubisky may not be the answer at all, but if you cut bait to Trubisky, you just move on from him. If you want to go out and get Wentz, you have to pay him more. You have to give up an asset to give it to him, which, who knows what his price is now. So you're paying an asset to get, and there's no guarantee that he gets in a new situation and becomes a good quarterback because it seems like he's not a great clubhouse guy and, leader in the locker room. And he hasn't been playing much better or any better than Trubisky. So you might just be, throwing gasoline on the fire, instead of just kind of looking at, the overall value of the quarterback situation.
That's one thing with Mitch is that he's handled this so well throughout the whole process of getting benched compared to what's going on now with Wentz. Total different situation though, because Wentz is just getting paid so much money. The Bears, the smart thing the Bears did was not jump to conclusions and pay Trubisky. They made him play out his contract, so they didn't money, so they could cut bait with the Bears. That's the one thing that's the one smart thing the Bears did. They let his rookie contract play out and not give him all this money.
I'm not going to give the Bears management much credit because they didn't pay him because
one thing they did right.
Well, yeah, but he wasn't playing well. You know what I'm saying? He was playing awful. So, of course, it wasn't a tough decision not to, give him another contract after his rookie deal. Wentz showed flashes before he got hurt, and that's where they got, plus all the draft equity that they went to give up to go up and get Wentz. So I think Mr. Trubisky, if you're a Bears fan, you just kind of hope he just gets better, right? I mean, like you said, you want him to play well today, and I'm starting your boy Cole Kmet over Evan Ingram in one league, so hopefully Mitch hits him a couple times.
Yeah, listen, he's playing better. He could play. I really, truly believe he could play. He's got all the skills.
Time out. I don't want to cut you off, Ant. We got breaking news. All right, guys, listen. Right. Ezekiel Elliott is going to be inactive.
Wow.
And Ezekiel Elliott is going to be inactive.
Tony Pollard. I still like.
So listen, I'm going to make that change.
Hold on, Tom. That is breaking news, so I had to hit that for you. So
yeah, so we'll put that up. So Ezekiel Elliott inactive. So there you go. So you got to bench him.
Yep.
Yeah, Nick Gonzalez has a point too. They still have Nick Foles sitting on the bench. So what the hell are they going to do with Foles? So it's the Bears.
The Bears.
Yeah. I'll take. So I don't know where to go with this game. This is an interesting kind of game. Minnesota on that roll that they were on. The Bears played good last game, but haven't played decent before that. I'm going to take Minnesota in this game. I just think Minnesota can get it done. Receiving end, Dalvin Cook's going to have a big day, even with that Chicago defense playing as well as they are. I think it's a bounce back week for Minnesota, even though it's a little late in the season. I'll take Minnesota to win the game.
Take the over. I think it's going to go over today, 46.5. I think
I can see that. I can see an over. Yep, yeah. I can see an over in this game. So, like we said, the next week we talk about Chicago. They are in Jacksonville next week, and Minnesota plays on Christmas against New Orleans. Oh God, that could be bad. So
yeah, I mean, Bears are still in it. Bears are still in it.
Bears are still in it.
Jacksonville, then a big game of Green Bay to finish the year. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. So the next game we'll talk to is the 6-7 New England Patriots, anchored by that Cam Newton, who stinks, by the way, at 8-5 Miami at 1:00. Miami's given half a point. You might as well say it's a pick 'em. Actually, I think it went to 1.5 now. So Miami's given 1.5, and it's 42. Tony, we'll start with you with Patriots and Miami. Do you think my Patriots can go down there and beat this Miami team who's 8-5 but playing really well this year?
Well, here's the thing, man. Before today, coming into this week, I'm thinking Miami just beats them up pretty good. I mean, that defense, against Cam Newton and everything's protected. But Miami right now, Devontae Parker is going to be out today. Mike Gesicki is going to be out today, and I'm missing somebody. Somebody else is going to be out today. I have to look it up. But they had some pretty big pieces out. So when you're looking at that, to help a rookie quarterback to not have his starting tight end and his best wide receiver, it's going to be difficult. So you have to think, can Tua make more plays, with his legs and hitting these receivers, and then you also talk about the scheme. I mean, Belichick is going against one of his former pupils. I still like Miami and that defense. I mean, listen, they've been flat out fun to watch. Xavier Howard's been shutting people down. They've been getting to the quarterback. So I'm gonna slightly lean Miami to win. And listen, at half a point, this is a game I'm definitely not betting. I'm not touching the over under. I'm just going to say, listen, I don't have any fantasy relevance into this game. So Miami wins. I hope everybody stays healthy, but I'm not going to be putting a dime in any way or fantasy or betting on this.
True. Yeah, I mean, it's really. I mean, I'm gonna roll with the Patriots today. I'm gonna go with Belichick. I'm gonna go with his track record against rookie quarterbacks. I mean, but yeah, you stay away from this game. I think the under is gonna hit. I can't see either team moving the ball. I could see just a lot of running. Cam Newton can't throw the ball. So, yeah, this game, I'm going to lean the Patriots, though. I'm going to lean Bill Belichick today. That's what I'm going to do.
Yeah, normally, I'd be with you with the Belichick thing. But you know what? Miami's been playing really well. The defense has helped them out big time. Tua looks good moving the ball. Like Tony said, they do have some people out. Gesicki's out, and that's going to hurt them a little bit. But I'm going to roll with Miami a little bit, not heavy. And again, I'm not putting a dime on this game because this is too back and forth. But I like the Dolphins to get it done at home. I think Cam Newton stinks, and always will stink. And, even though the Patriots defense seems to be coming around a little bit, and that offense can do a little bit with their running back situation, I think Miami squeaks one out. And, I roll with Miami. So next week, New England on Monday night against Buffalo, which – depending on what they do this week is going to have major impact on them. And then you got Miami visiting the Raiders going out west. So see what happens. So we got Really, really fun game here. Well, the 1-12 Jacksonville Jaguars go into Baltimore to play the 8-5 Baltimore Ravens. Baltimore's giving a whopping 12.5, and it's 48. Tony, or no, Anthony, Emilio. The Ravens, kind of struggled last week, but you got a Jacksonville team who, although they're 1-12, they don't go out without a fight. They got James Robinson there, and they got some guys that are playing now. Gardner Minshew looked like the rise from the Phoenix last week. What do you think of this game?
I think this is going to be a get right game for the Ravens. I think they're just going to run the ball, move the ball up and down the field. I like the 12.5 today. I saw a 13.5. I would take it there too. I could see Lamar Jackson blowing up. Jacksonville, I mean, they're going to fight. You're right. They're going to fight, but they have no reason to win. So I'm rolling heavy with the Ravens today. I think they're going to flex their muscle.
Tony, quick question. Good question coming in on my phone. One of my buddies wants to know flex player to use. He has James Robinson or Cam Akers.
James Robinson or Cam Akers. Wow. Listen, that's
a tough one.
Yeah.
So
can you start them both? Who else is he starting?
He didn't say that. He just asked for a flex player.
So you got Cam Akers is against the Jets. Listen, the Jets defense, the Jets run defense is surprisingly better than expected. And then you got James Robinson in this game here against Baltimore. I'm taking Cam Akers. Cam Akers, I believe, has over 20 carries. I think he had like 29 carries in his last game. So with this season, it came into Darrell Henderson and Brown and Akers kind of all sharing the load. Akers gets banged up a little bit, sits out a couple games, and the next thing you know, McVay is just putting him out there and just completely using him. And against the Jets, this is a game that the Rams should take care of business early on. James Robinson has been phenomenal, but this Baltimore Ravens team, they don't get run on. They have a history of never getting run on. So I'm taking Cam Akers, and I'm feeling pretty comfortable about that. I have a question now: do I start Tony Pollard or James Robinson? So now I'm racking my brain. So
I would start Pollard because he's definitely going to get the volume. I mean, they're both going to get volume, I think, but Pollard is definitely going to get volume without a doubt in Dallas.
Yeah, it definitely adds some. With a guy like Zeke and Pollard. Listen, Tony Pollard, when he's been playing, he's looked good. So
yeah.
He has a follow-up question. He wants to know, his concern is that Robinson's volume compared to Cam Akers' volume with the mix-up of Henderson and Malcolm with the or Brown with the Rams.
Well, off the top of my, let me pull it up because off the top of my head, I'm pretty sure that
he got back-to-back 20 carry weeks. I know.
Yeah, but that's the one thing you have to look at too. He's got back-to-back 20 carry weeks, and he got the rock when they had the lead. If you look at the splits in the last couple games, when you had Akers had 29 carries.
Mm-hmm.
Brown had 0 last week. Darrell Henderson had 2 last week. I don't see a guy going from 29 carries to all of a sudden splitting carries with 2 other guys that had barely touched the ball last year.
True.
That's what I'm saying. And I think the week before he got over 20 carries as well against Arizona. Let me just.
Right, so I guess it comes down to what run defense is better, the Ravens or the Jets.
Well, the Jets' run defense is a little bit better than you expected for a team being so bad, but you have to run with them because you got to think that the Rams are going to take care of business and Akers is going to be a big part of it. 2 weeks ago, Cam Akers 21 carries, Darrell Henderson 3 carries, Malcolm Brown 3 carries. So you got to there's no cute running back by committee there. This is Cam Akers' job, and I'd be very secure playing him in there. Although James Robinson has been phenomenal, both rookies. I mean. But if I had to pick either or, I'm definitely taking Cam Akers. I wish I had Cam Akers instead of James Robinson today.
Yeah, he's probably one of the hottest backs in the league right now. I just saw he's got 372 yards in 3 games. I mean, you can't sit a guy right now that's riding that train,
Yeah.
Right.
So as for the game,
right?
Yeah. What's that?
Florida State guy, Cam Akers.
Yeah, there you go. Florida State looks real good in the last 2 years, don't they? Anyway, so So I'll go with with Jacksonville and Baltimore. Like Anthony said, and Media said, like I said, I'm going to roll with Baltimore too. I think it's a get right game for them. They played poorly last week against the Browns, but I think they can blow Jacksonville.
Time out, flag on that play. What do you mean they played poorly? That was one of the best games of the NFL season, Mike. That was a thriller. That was Lamar. That was Action Jackson dropping a deuce and then coming back in and dropping a dime to Hollywood Brown for the win, and who I told you to play last week, Mike Meads. Hollywood Brown is going to get that.
You
shot.
told me. You told me.
So when you're looking at that, that was a phenomenal game, and you can't say they looked like shit against a team that was what's the Browns 9-3? I mean, listen, that was a great game. I mean, listen, you're right though. This is going to be a get right game because they should go out there and they can continue the momentum from the game that they just played and wipe the doors off of Jacksonville, who plays hard. But listen, Lamar Jackson's back. You've seen it last week. He's running. He's feeling better. COVID symptoms gone. I liked Baltimore to run them out of town too, but let's not say that they didn't play because that was I think right now if I had to put my make my pick for NFL game of the year, I think that was the NFL game of the year last week with the Browns. Phenomenal Browns Ravens game.
So what do you think? I benched Claypool today for J.K. Dobbins. Do you agree?
Absolutely 100%.
Okay, I like that.
Claypool's very touchdown dependent, and he's
well, his production is fell off. With the emergence of Johnson, his production, his looks, everything's fell off. So I've been rolling with him all year. He's been on my team all year, and I got to bench him today. J.K. Dobbins is the play. He's the emerging running back here.
Yeah, I think, and listen, and with the threat with Lamar Jackson running the ball more now, J.K. Dobbins is going to be even that more effective. And I believe Mark Ingram is out today, if I read that correctly. I think he's going to be inactive. So let me put that up here. Yeah, so you're looking at that like you're J.K. all day because you have to understand too. Ben Roethlisberger loves to throw the ball to James Washington because he's the only one who could catch. Claypool, Deontay Johnson, guys haven't been thinking. Even they lead the league in drops, and they were one of So it's tough, man. But yeah, I think I'm making that decision all day with J.K. Dobbins.
So it looks like we're all three of us are on board with Baltimore winning easily in this game.
Mark Jackson is inactive. Jimmy Smith is inactive. Marcus Peters is inactive, and Calais Campbell is inactive. So that's a lot of. But I think Jacksonville gets it done. But you know what? Minshew might have a little bit more success than with maybe DJ Chark because I know he likes hitting them. So if you're desperate,
Robinson move, you could be looking at Robinson a little bit with a lot of defensive guys out like that.
PPR Robinson might not be bad.
Yeah.
So Chicago at Jacksonville, and the Giants head to Baltimore next week. So the next game up are my boys, 8-5 Tampa Bay Buccaneers head into Atlanta to play the 4-9 Falcons. Tampa Bay's given 6.5. 49 is the total. You look at this game, I think it's going to be a high-scoring game to begin with because, even though Atlanta's defense has played, fairly better than when they got rid of the coach, they got rid of Dan Quinn. I think the Bucs are going to start getting it together. They're going to have to if they're going to make a push to keep a spot, to keep their wild card spot. It's amazing. I saw a stat that Tom Brady, well, it's not amazing, but Tom Brady, all his years of making the playoffs, have never made it as a wild card. It's always been a division champ. So this could be the first year. So
Joe Janslow had a comment. Any chance that they win the division today? What do you think?
Depending on what happens with Kansas City, I don't think so. I said in the beginning of the year, I thought New Orleans wins the division. If they stumble a little bit, they play Kansas City this week, New Orleans, and they play Minnesota next week. So I don't think they're not going to lose both those games. They're going to lose probably just one. I don't think the Bucs can catch them. The Bucs might have to win out to do that. I don't think it's going to happen. But listen, the Bucs have played better. They play good in spurts is what they do. And I think this is a game where Brady gets it right. Tampa Bay goes into Atlanta. They beat Atlanta pretty handily. I know it's an individual home dog too in the betting scheme, but I like the Bucs to go into Atlanta and take care of business.
I agree. I mean, this is the first of Tampa Bay finishes up the season with Atlanta, Detroit, Atlanta. So when you're looking at Atlanta, Detroit, Atlanta, that is like, I'm not going to say it's a bye, but it's like three games that you should win, and to stay in contention because you got a bad Falcons team. Even though it's a division opponent, you're going to get amped up. No Julio Jones, and we all know what Matt Ryan turns into when Julio Jones isn't playing.
Yep.
So, with that being said, Tampa Bay should come out. They should take care of business. I like the over in this game. I think Tampa Bay puts up some decent amount of points, and Ryan's going to hit Calvin Ridley, for one, maybe two, some yards, stuff like that to kind of bump it up there. So, I mean, a 35-21 game, something like that, I could definitely see. But even though Ronald Jones is out and you don't see a lot of Leonard Fournette, you don't see Shady McCoy. That's another bet that I'm on. I'm on Shady McCoy over 20.5 yards. It's a little scary betting on a backup running back, but I think it's more of a split because of how well McCoy did, because for your boy Fournette was inactive last week, healthy and active. So that shows that they're trying to put a little bit more life into McCoy. And without Ronald Jones, I think you're looking at, they're going to get back to the power running game a little bit more. Brady's going to go into the 21 personnel with the two tight end sets. Godwin, Evans, these guys should all have a very good day against a bad Atlanta defense. I'm taking Tampa Bay. I'll lay to 6.5.
Yeah, I agree. Actually, I'm actually leaning towards the under. I could see Tampa Bay locking up Atlanta here and it being like a 28-13 game, something like that. But yeah, this is a game Tampa Bay has to show that they're a real team, and they just got to mow over Atlanta here because Atlanta's at such a disadvantage. I see Tampa Bay winning, but I'm going to lean the under here. I'm going to go the opposite of you guys.
See, I understand where you're coming from because Tampa Bay's defense is much better than what Atlanta's product's putting out on the field, but Atlanta should score a few points against them.
So next week,
are we ever going to see an Antonio Brown touchdown? I'm still waiting.
You might see one by the end of the year or two, maybe. But I mean, listen, I said it before. If something happens and they get rid of Antonio Brown, they have weapons. It's not like they need Antonio Brown to really move this forward. But
yeah, it was just.
I think the Bucs did.
I think it was just a good add-on, some insurance, and I actually think they move on from him next season if they can.
Well, the Bucs are doing a lot. The Bucs are doing a lot more for Antonio Brown than Antonio Brown is doing for the Bucs. To be honest,
exactly.
I mean, they're allowing this guy to resurrect his career. I mean, Tom Brady pretty much did a favor for a friend kind of deal. But I think that they're smart enough now to see he's not going to be a focal point of their offense. They need to play, to play how Tom is used to playing in their offensive scheme. So, I think, Brown will get in the end zone. I mean, this might be one of – listen, when you play Atlanta, Detroit and Atlanta, good chance you're going to get in the end zone, a couple times towards the end of the season.
Yep. So the Bucs play at Detroit next week, and Atlanta plays in Kansas City, which should be that should be a little bit ugly there. So the next game we have up is the 5-8 Detroit Lions at the 9-4 Tennessee Titans at 1:00. Tennessee is giving a stout 9 points, and the over-under is 53.5. Tony Quigley, Detroit and Tennessee. Tennessee should mow Detroit over, especially in Tennessee. Derrick Henry should have a ton of yards. Do you agree?
Yeah, thanks for bringing that up, Mike. I'm playing against Derrick Henry in 2 leagues this weekend.
I have Derrick Henry. So.
I got him.
Well, I'm not playing either of you guys, so that's. But if you guys look at the prop bet for Derrick Henry, it's 118 yards over. So you're looking at just a game that Derrick Henry should absolutely dominate. Detroit offensively, Matt Stafford somehow is going to start the game and play from everything I've heard. He is. Thank you. He is not going to finish this game. I mean, listen, Mike Vrabel. If you want to say a lot about that Tennessee team, one thing is that they are a tough team. Right? Mike Vrabel has put his personality into that team. They play hard every game. If Matt Stafford is upright by the end of it, I'd be extremely surprised. The emergence of DeAndre Swift might be the only thing that saves Stafford, but Hawkinson might be productive. But when you're talking about trying to keep him upright, they're just going to beat on him, and I'll be very, very surprised if he finishes the game. I'll take the Titans. Derrick Henry will probably hit the 150 mark today. How many touchdowns he scores might just be Vrabel's decision, if they want to give him the ball. But I'll take Tennessee, lay the 9. I think I got him at 8, but you have up 9 here. But anything under 10, I'm pretty confident in. So, big day for Derrick Henry owners, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'd like to see Derrick Henry at $150 today. Yeah, I can't see losing this game. About 9.5 scares me. For some reason, 9.5 scares me. I'm gonna stay away. I'd probably stay on the props with maybe an AJ Brown touchdown, some Derrick Henry, some Henry props. That's about it. But yeah, I'm not gonna do anything with this game line wise. I could see Detroit back to recovering this so easy.
Yeah, I see Tennessee blowing them out. But in the same sense, I like Henry to go nuts today. Not just because I have, just because he's been going crazy the last couple of weeks. And
so what I do, expecting Derrick Henry to go nuts, is I took over 118 yards, and hedge my bet that way.
That's good. I like the bet. I like it.
Yeah, that's what we do.
Yeah, definitely. I'll take. I agree with both of you guys. Emilio, the 9 is kind of high, and I can see Detroit backdoor covering this, but I still think Henry pulls away in this game. I'm going to take. I'll take Detroit with the 9, but I think Henry has a monster day. So, and next week Tampa Bay plays at Detroit, and Tennessee is at Green Bay, which should be a very, very interesting game.
Yeah, it's going to be a good game.
Yeah. So then we got the 4.
Oh,
J-Rock is in the house.
What's up, J-Rock? Lost my spot here. There we go. Houston at 4-9. Houston, Texas at the 9-4. Indianapolis Colts 1:00. Indy is laying 7 points, and it is 51. Emilio, kind of like the over a little bit in this game. Do you agree?
No, I don't agree. Did you watch the Texans against the Bears last week?
I just got a feeling that they could put up a little bit of points today.
Yeah, the Colts defense, they're good.
I'm
gonna roll with the Colts today. Take with the 7. Roll with the Colts. I like some T.Y. Hilton props. He's coming along with Rivers now.
Mm-hmm.
Taylor running the ball. The Texans cannot stop the run at all. So Taylor, Hines, I can see these guys eating today. Roll up on the Colts, -7. I don't know about the over-under just because I don't trust the Texans' offense. They're so banged up. It's just Watson and Kiki.
But listen, yeah, you're 100% right about that. I mean, for all the Derrick Henry love, we've seen the emergence of Johnny Taylor, and finally, right, fantasy owners were being killed all year, and now he's finally emerging. So it's good to see Taylor, and T.Y. Hilton. I mean, these guys have come along, and they've really been feeding it. I agree with you, Ant. I think this is a blowout. I think 51 is high because I'm looking, I'm scratching my head to see how Houston puts up 20 points because, then if they can't put up 20, then Indianapolis is going to have to score 40 to hit that number, and that's tough to do. But, when you're looking at the Houston side of the ball, David Johnson is out, is in, I believe he's playing, and Duke Johnson's banged up, but that doesn't do anybody any favors. They've the receiving core is beat up. I mean, so when you're looking at Houston, unless Deshaun Watson can run around and make some miracles happen, they're going to have a really tough day. I like the Colts. I like them to cover 7 very, very easily, and I'm not touching the over/under. John Taylor has another big game. So load up on John Taylor props.
Yeah, I'll roll the Colts too, just because Texans last week, even though they played the Bears and Bears have a good defense, they got down to the 2-yard line and couldn't punch one in. I actually think they got in the red zone a couple times last week and couldn't do a thing with it. So, yeah, I'll go with you guys. I think Indianapolis wins this game going away. A lot of weapons, a lot of firepower. They got to keep winning, the Colts, but I mean, they've really picked up the second half of the year, really, really playing well. So then next week, Indianapolis plays Pittsburgh, which will be, I think, a really good game again. And you got Cincinnati playing Houston, which will be a dog food game. So you got finally we get to the area that we're in. The 4-8-1 Philadelphia Eagles are at the 7-6 Arizona Cardinals at 4:00 to kick off the afternoon games. Arizona is giving 6 points, and the over/under is 49.5. Tony Quigley, what do you think of Jalen Hurts? Can he make some magic again with 2 running quarterbacks in this game?
Oh, that's a loaded question because I really like what Hurts did. And the Arizona defense isn't very good to say the least. I mean, they've had big holes in it, but I don't think this game is going to be more about Jalen Hurts than it is going to be about Kyler Murray. To be honest with you, I think Jalen Hurts is going to make some plays with his feet. He's going to dink and dunk. He's going to be somewhat successful. But the Eagles' secondary is so decimated with injuries. If fantasy owners, if Kyler Murray has blessed you all year, he's going to continue to bless you against this Eagles team, who I think they have a letdown from the New Orleans game. I mean, listen, what they did against New Orleans, shocked the world, which is impressive for Hurts and a young guy trying to come out and get his first win. But now there's a full game tape on him. Now you could adjust to him, and I think Hurts, is going to have some success just because the Cardinals' defense is pretty poor. But when you look at some of the things that is going on in the Eagles, especially with the defensive side of the ball, no way they're stopping this Cardinals team. Kyler Murray is a real run dual threat quarterback. He's not Taysom Hill, who's more just a single run and dink and dunk kind of gadget stuff. And I think they're going to see the difference today. I like the Cardinals. I'll take them laying 7. I like the Cardinals team total. I forget what it is. I think it was 28.5, maybe something like that. If you could get them to 28, I'll have to relook at that number. I like that. And fantasy owners that have DeAndre Hopkins, that have Kyler Murray, you're going to be in luck today because they're at big games.
I'm going to roll with the Eagles today +6. I think this game's going to be closer than people think. I think it's going to be a ball control game for the Eagles. You're going to see Hurts. You're going to see a lot of Miles Sanders. I like the Eagles' offensive matchup against the Cardinals' defense. Now I know you flip it the other way around. The Eagles are all banged up, but the Eagles front 7 has been surprisingly playing pretty well this year. I believe they're ranked in the top 10 in the front 7 with the run game, pass game. I just think it's going to be a close game today. I'm going to roll with the Eagles +6.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Eagles as well. I think it's going to be a closer game. I think Arizona does pull this out, but I don't think with both running quarterbacks, I think they're both going to have good days, and they're going to keep this game back and forth. But I think it's going to be a close one. I think Arizona wins the game, but I'll take the Eagles getting the 6 points, keeping it close. You got next week, Philadelphia plays at Dallas, and then San Fran's at Arizona. Got it, man.
It's going to be a fun game. Watch these two quarterbacks. I know they played against each other in college, so it should be fun.
Yep.
No, yeah, you said Miles Sanders should be successful. I mean, is this fine? I mean, is Doug finally giving Miles Sanders the touches?
Yeah,
because he's killed people.
It all depends on Doug Peterson. You know what I mean? You got to give the guy the ball. So, I like Miles Sanders. I think he's a good player, and I think the Eagles
absolutely.
But I think the Eagles win when he's very productive. It's on the coach. You're going to see today. It's on the coach. A lot of running the ball for the Eagles with Hurts, Sanders today. I could see it.
Yeah, I mean, you're looking at. I mean, Sanders had over 15 carries the last 2. Was it? No, I'm sorry, I'm looking at the wrong. He had 14 carries. He hasn't had over 15 carries in 4 games, and that was 16.
He should touch the ball 20 plus times a game. I don't understand. It's so frustrating watching it.
Yeah,
you have such a talented guy, man. You got to get him the ball somewhere. I mean, especially what the Eagles are working with on the outside. Got to find a way to get this guy the ball, and I just don't understand Doug's play calling sometimes.
That's the mindset that I think a lot of people came into the beginning of the season. Is with Miles Sanders, he's probably besides your tight end position, as far as your threat, your home run threat, and everything like that. Jalen Reagor's a rookie. I mean, he is your known quantity as being your best offensive weapon. With Wentz struggling, you think you would try to give him the ball more. But, I mean, even if you're talking about just a running game itself, I mean, like when Peterson runs, Miles Sanders out there, but then he puts Boston Scott in the game. Then you see Corey Clement getting carries. Yeah. It kind of just it's like, do you not value this guy's talent because he is an uber talented guy and he's a home run thrower who touches the ball. So Miles Sanders is extremely frustrating. I mean, it's I know he's killed fantasy owners week in and week out, but if they were brave enough to play him last week, I think what you said though is the recipe of the Eagles' success for a long, long time, but it's just they haven't done it.
Yeah, I
So
don't get it. It's confusing.
me and you are not Eagles fans. None of us are Eagles
No,
fans.
No.
Yeah.
And we see
Watching
the
it from
frustration. So
afar.
It's
So speaking of a fun game, the 0-13 New York Jets head to LA to play the 9-4 Los Angeles Rams. The Rams are giving a whopping 17, and the over-under is 44.5. Mr. Emilio, do you think the Jets have any kind of shot in this game to beat a 9-4 Rams team that's just rolling right now?
No, absolutely not. I mean, last week they played Seattle. It was 16, and I told Tony, I told these guys I was scared of 16 to take the first half, which I hit on. But yeah, 17. I'm gonna roll with the 17 this week, Tone. I'm gonna take it. I'll take it.
is
Too much
that where the
firepower.
line is right now?
Yeah. First half play too.
Well, yeah, I'm not touching this game. 17 in a professional sport, no matter if they're 0-13. I mean, if you remember when the Patriots were running people out of the building, with the Moss Brady. I mean,
Yeah.
when the line was 17 to 20 points, it was making news every week, and they were really, like, wow, 17 points. It seems like I think it's a very similar line, even though it's on the road, even though the Rams should win this game by 3 touchdowns. If Sam Darnold going back to the West Coast, right? I believe Darnold's playing.
Yeah.
Sam Darnold going back to the West Coast, they can make a couple of things happen. Their defense, the Jets' defensive line with Quinnen Williams isn't that bad. Like I said, they're not a horrible team against the run. I just don't think that their defensive secondary is going to be able to keep up with LA, Cooper Kupp, Robert Woods. These guys are just very good receivers. Even Josh Reynolds, their third receivers. So taking to 17,
I mean, I'm not touching
game,
it. I'm not
problem.
touching it. But if I'm taking something, I'm taking the first half of 17. I'm not.
I mean, I could see that, but I wouldn't touch this game. I'm not laying 17 points in the NFL. Now, if it's a college game, I'm laying 17 and not thinking about it and watching Alabama win by 40. I mean, it's just that simple. Well, they were playing. That was a great game last night. You see Kyle Trask and Mac Jones and Najee Harris, and these guys just go absolutely, AWOL. And it was just fun because they were all over the place. So, but I mean, listen, not every game, you know what I'm saying, but
Yeah.
when you're looking at it though, it's not college. So I'm not laying 17 points, but I think the Rams win. The Rams win handily. If they win by 21, no one's going to be surprised, But I don't see this going to be very competitive.
Yeah, I mean, this has got backdoor cover written all over it, and that's why it's tough laying the 17 on there. I mean, I think the Rams, like Tony said, win pretty handily, but you can see the garbage touchdown at the end of the game that gets in there to make it close, or whatever. The Jets have covered, I think, a couple times this year this way. But with that being said, I'm going to take the Rams given the 17. I just don't think that the Jets can kind of keep up with them at all. I think the Rams, like Tony said, they win by 21. Nobody's shocked. Nobody's really worried about it. I'm not putting a dime on it, but I think the Rams could then pull away.
If you look at the teams that
go ahead, Tone. Go ahead.
I said, if you look at the teams that they had trouble playing with, it's the teams that could score. Like last week, they got destroyed by Seattle, right?
Yeah.
Okay, then the other team the last time they got blown out, I mean, Miami beat them by 17, 20-3, but that's kind of like a low scoring game. With that defense, you can't play them. Kansas City blew them out real quick, and Miami 24-0 is there, and then Arizona lost 20. So they like teams that could really score and put the offensive pressure on them. They have trouble with, but generally they're pretty competitive. They're as competitive as an 0-13 team can be.
Yeah. I don't know if you've noticed, but I don't know how many games in a row it's been, but the Jets have scored first in a lot of games, and then that's it. If you notice, they're kicking a field goal or they're scoring first.
Yeah.
They've scored first a lot in a lot of games.
They get that opening drive and then they just go in the toilet.
I feel bad for Sam Darnold today, though. He's just going to get eaten alive.
Aaron Donald is going to be, wearing him like a coat, but that shows to me that Adam Gase, because the first drive for teams are normally all scripted, right? So it shows to me that they're pretty good at preparing for what's going on. But then, when they go into the game, but then once they get into it and they have to, make in-game adjustments, it's just a complete shit show.
Yeah. And then Cleveland rolls into New York next week to play the Jets, and the Rams are on the road against Seattle. So our next game is absolutely positively the game of the week with the starting quarterback for the New Orleans Saints back, Drew Brees. The 12-1 Kansas City Chiefs roll into New Orleans to play the 10-3 Saints. Kansas City's giving 3 points, and it's 52 and a hook. Anthony Medio, phenomenal game. An over by a lock or what?
I don't know I don't know what to expect from Drew Brees. You know, coming off of all the how many ribs was hurt? I mean, I don't know what to expect.
All of them.
Yeah.
All of them.
11 out of 20, 11 out of 24. He didn't break all of them, so he's all right.
I mean, and watching him when he was healthy, I mean, they didn't throw the ball. They're not throwing the ball down the field. They're winning in different ways. Defense, Kamara, Taysom Hill. No Mike Thomas today. So I mean, I don't know how big that is. He hasn't played a lot all year. I can't bet. I'm rolling with Mahomes today. I mean, I think the Chiefs are just phenomenal. I think they'll come out focused, and I just see the Chiefs. I'll go with the Chiefs today on the road. They need to win. They got to keep. Both teams have to win, but the Chiefs got to win to keep up the that first place bye.
Yeah, you know what? I mean, this was a big game, as obviously for both teams. It seems like every time New Orleans plays the top team, like when the second time they played Tampa Bay, when they played Kansas City, it seems like they're always like the little bit of an underdog to them for whatever reason. You know, like we don't have a ton of expectation because whether somebody's hurt or what they're whatever the scenario is. Now you have Drew Brees coming back from, this team's coming off a loss. I mean, once they have 3 losses, one to Green Bay. I mean, besides that game against Philadelphia last week, they haven't lost since week 3. I think this is a refocused game. I think this is a trap game for Kansas City, even though they should be focused. Kamara fantasy owners, having Drew Brees back is a godsend. Now you're going to get the check downs. Now you're going to get all those PPR points that you've been missing. I mean, I think he had a good game last week, but overall, he's really took a dip in production. He was banged up and not having Drew Brees, healthy. Drew Brees is taking every single snap at the first team offense. So Taysom Hill goes back to being the gadget guy. Gadget guys, though, aren't really going to win games or be too effective against the Kansas City Chiefs. That's a fast track that you got in New Orleans, and you put Tyreek Hill on a fast track. Mahomes, this is a very difficult game to cover because like we said last week, we expected New Orleans to have a best defense. Now, does New Orleans was that Philadelphia game looking ahead to this game, and are they hyped up for this game? Are they going to go out there and whitewash the Kansas City team like they did to Tampa Bay? This is a game I'm just going to sit back, enjoy, and watch. I'm going to stay far from it in betting circles, because since for Kansas City, for as good as they look at sometimes, they kind of scare me at other times as far as like playing down to their competition, because you see they're in struggles with the Raiders every week. Every time they play them, they already lost to them. If Kansas City's going to drop a game, this may be it. But here's the thing though. Just like Matt Stafford, as we said earlier, I'm not 100% sure Drew Brees could finish this game. That rib injuries hurt like a MFer. If anybody ever cracked ribs, broke ribs, whatever, 11 of them, that's a problem. And can Taysom Hill actually come out there and score with him? So I think you're going to see Kansas City take the game in a close one because Brees.
Well, I think same thing, Tony, with Drew Brees. He had a punctured lung, broken ribs. I think if the doctors didn't think he could play in this game, he probably wouldn't have been cleared. So I think he's going to be good to go. I mean, I hope he's going to be okay. Listen, it'll make for great TV if he stays in the game and everything. And believe it or not, guys, I think with Kansas City, they're a high-powered team, and this is going to be a good game. I think the Saints can pull this off. The defense is going to have to slow them down. The only way they're going to have a chance in this game. And I think that's going to give Drew Brees time to get rolling in this game a little bit and get some, shake some rust off in the first half. And I think in the second half, New Orleans has a shot to win this game, even though Michael Thomas is out. He's out for the year. Kamara can get in there, can run the ball a little bit, throw some screens out there to him. I'll take New Orleans on the money line. I think New Orleans can win this game at home. I think it's definitely a game for the taking. And like I said, the only way you're going to slow Kansas City down, you got to slow them down in the way of, Tyreek Hill and Kelsey. It's a tall order, but if anybody in the league could do it, I think New Orleans can.
Yeah, I mean, New Orleans is going to have to play with some pride after they got embarrassed last week.
Yep.
They struggled. Their defense struggled a little bit with it, where we're surprised by Jalen Hurts. I mean, Pat Mahomes is definitely going to give them fits. But I think that they're a team that might be focused. Lou Micholi brings up a point about Breeze being rusty. The thing with Breeze being rusty is he has thrown a deep ball and stuff like that. He hasn't looked good all season on it.
Yeah.
I think, add a rib injury to a quarterback that hasn't looked extremely impressive throwing the ball, and with his top receiver out, it's going to be a tough one. But if their defense could pull up some magic, I say it's going to be a close one. Kansas City close one.
I like all the KC props today. I like Kelsey over 6.5 receptions. I like Hill over 79 yards. I like Mahomes over 2.5 touchdowns. You get some good value there. I'm rolling with KC today. I like them on the indoors.
Okay. And Kansas City next week will play home against Atlanta, and Minnesota on a Christmas Day will go to New Orleans to play them. I think last week's Eagles game was a trap game for New Orleans a little bit. They're looking forward to Kansas City, this matchup, maybe getting Breeze back. I think that's why they didn't play as well as they did, or Taysom Hill had a bad game. But I also saw some different things from the Eagles defense.
Like effort and heart, and the whole team played rallied around the quarterback.
Well, Taysom Hill is who he is. I mean,
right.
The guy don't throw the ball. I mean, you find any kind of NFL defense, he just don't throw the ball well. So if you play any kind of good defense in the NFL, he's not going to be successful, in my opinion.
So the next game we have up is 9-40. Yeah, that's a little wrong, but the 9-4 Cleveland Browns against the 5-8 New York Giants. Cleveland is giving 6.5, and it's 44 and a hook. Tony Quigley, you had said before the 9-4 Cleveland Browns. Do you think the Browns obviously are playing over their head, or do you think they're that good of a team?
No, you know what? I mean, I think they are what they are. They are a 9-4 team because they've done a great job adjusting to what they need to do on offense. That's limit Baker Mayfield's mistakes. That's run the ball, power running game. And now we're in 14, 15 weeks into the season here, and you've seen Baker Mayfield start to actually look like a solid NFL quarterback. He's playing within himself. He's not making huge mistakes, and he's giving his team an option to win every game. And their defense is pretty solid too. I mean, now they're going to face a New York Giants team that does not have their starting quarterback in Danny Dimes, who, if anybody watched that game last week, probably shouldn't have been playing. The guy couldn't move. And if you got a guy who needs to move to be successful and put some stress on the defense, Danny Dimes wasn't able to move. So going to Colt McCoy is probably the right decision. But at the end of the day, he's still Colt McCoy. Evan Ingram's banged up, so he's somebody that you really want to monitor in fantasy circles. Monday night makes it a tough decision. Me personally, I'm benching him for Cole Kmet. In one of my leagues, so it's tough. I don't know if the Giants could stop them enough on defense, because the defense didn't look great. After they showed some spark, middle of the season, they've kind of regressed a little bit. I think Cleveland goes. I think Nick Chubb has a huge game. I think you're looking at Kareem Hunt out the backfield again with that dynamic duo, and I don't think Baker's going to be making the mistakes that he's been known to do in the past. I think Cleveland wins this game. Most likely they cover, and it's going to be a long game for Colt McCoy and that Giants offense.
I actually kind of think the opposite. I kind of feel like the Giants are going to muck this game up. I think could be a letdown by the Browns after coming off an incredible game. I think it
a loss
down a little bit. A loss, but still. Yeah, I can see the Giants mucking up this game. I mean, Cleveland could win. Cleveland's going to win, but I'll take the 6.5. I could see the Giants, like I said, just making this game just dirty.
Yeah, Colt McCoy revenge against his old team, I guess you could say a little bit. I think the Giants have played a little bit better, although they a couple of times they haven't played good this year. We thought they were going to probably win a division, but it's not looking that way. I'll take the Giants as well with the 6.5. I think the Giants, can keep it close. Cleveland will win the game, but I just think they'll keep it close with everything going on. Cleveland's at New York Jets next week, and I don't know where the Giants are good. Giants are at the Ravens next week. So,
yeah,
okay.
Tough end of the season for the Giants, that's for sure. With these two,
Yep, definitely. This should be an interesting game. The 11-2 Pittsburgh Steelers are at the 2-10-1 Cincinnati Bengals. The Burrow Cincinnati Bengals. Mr. Emilio, the Steelers lost 2 games in a row. Is it is the sky falling, or are the Steelers not that good anymore?
No, I don't believe the sky is falling. I attribute the Steelers' losses to just the NFL schedule. They've gotten so screwed. They played 3 games in 12 days. I mean, that's asking a lot from an NFL football team. I really attribute their struggles to that, but also I believe them not running the ball well this year is really going to hurt this team in the long run. They have to establish the run. They're dinking and dunking with Ben. It's just not working. I think this is a game the Steelers will get right. I think they'll concentrate on running the ball more. I feel they know they need to do that to be successful. And this is going to be a get right game. Bengals are starting Finley. The guy's no good. So I'm going to go with the Steelers. I'm going to take the 14.5 here. I think the Steelers are just going to roll. I think they're going to come out. They're refreshed. They got a little break. They're going to come out and roll.
Yeah, I mean, the Steelers. You're right with the Steelers playing. I think it was 3 games in 10 days or 12 days or something like that. Screwed by the schedule a little bit, but I'm not going to attribute their losses to that. I just don't think that they're an amazing football team that was going to be threatening for going on an undefeated season. They, as much as they got screwed by the schedule, they were 10. They were 10-0 because of that schedule too. They had a cakewalk of a schedule. They were very fortunate in that, and eventually their shortcomings kind of caught up with them. So I mean, maybe it's fair to say that the Washington game was definitely one of those games where you could kind of blame they were a little bit they were a little bit screwed by the schedule. But that Buffalo game though, Buffalo right now, when you're looking at these teams play, I think Buffalo is just a better team. So
yeah,
I think that you're looking at a Pittsburgh team that needs to make a lot of adjustments. The running game has been MIA for all season for the most part, except a game here and there. The offense, I think the short dink and dunk offense, it's not. I think it's not a bad strategy when you're trying to keep Ben upright and healthy, so just for them quick throws. And those receivers, listen, Juju Smith-Schuster, Claypool, Deontay Johnson, James Washington, Eric Ebron. That's a very, very good from 1 to 5 starting offensive weapons. So you want to get the ball in their hands as fast as possible. Problem though, they drop everything in sight. Ebron and Deontay Johnson, all of a sudden they can't catch the damn ball. So when you're an offense and you got a nice 3rd and 5, or something short, and you just expect to get this first down, and you hit Deontay Johnson in stride in his hands, and he drops the ball, that's a drive killer. None of this really matters right now because they're going to go and play a Ryan Finley-led Cincinnati Bengals they don't have Joe Mixon. They're just a not a good football team right now. I mean, they're dreadful. So I agree with you, Ant. I think Pittsburgh is going to be working on a lot of things, and they're going to be trying to showcase what they can on national TV after a couple bad losses, against Buffalo and Washington, and in them little weird games, but weird time frame games. But hey, this is the game they put up. I 35-10. Simple, easy, lay a 14.5, go to bed, get up for work, Tuesday morning and count your money.
Yeah, I agree with it too. Unfortunately, that's a lot. That's a lot of points to give an NFL team, but Finley doesn't scare me at all with Cincinnati, and I think Pittsburgh needs to make a statement, just like Buffalo did the other night. So I think Pittsburgh rolls as well. 14.5. I'll lay to 14.5 and give it to Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I like a little prop bet with some big odds. I like the Steelers defense to score, just to take a shot.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely, bud.
Yeah,
Love it.
I like that. With that, guys, hey, it's almost not even 12:30, and we're done the schedule. Amazing, isn't it great when you actually talk sports and you put some stuff out there? How you get stuff done? It's amazing. So,
well, we didn't have topics this week like worrying about what the Jets is going to get fired and who's going to be the head coach for some certain team in 2024 or other nonsense that doesn't pertain to this week's games.
Yeah.
But we appreciate the effort all given by all. I guess Brian Hess couldn't make it today. I guess he has another buffet for he's eating at the Asian buffet or something like that.
Well, you know what I have to say with Hess not being here.
Justin Thomas, after his excellent approach shot, ran all the way toward the back of the green for birdie.
Dude, you gotta be fucking kidding me.
Well, that's
I guess I'm the only one who doesn't know the ending of that before it started. You guys
I asked Brian to cut it down. He hasn't cut it down yet, but that's okay.
Hey, Mike.
Yeah.
Charlie Woods makes that.
Listen, I got 10 alerts. I got 10 alerts yesterday. 10. I counted them on Charlie Woods during the whole thing.
You get alerts until you die, Mike.
Listen, that's great. I'm excited that he's with his son. I am. It's great because if I could do it, that would be awesome. But I don't need to see this kid this much already. He's not even. Come on. Let's pump the brakes a little bit with this.
You better get used to it, Mike.
I know it's coming. They got nothing else to talk about, so they'll pump Charlie Woods up now. Yep, absolutely. So I want to thank Ant, and Ant, I will tell you, congratulations on being a part of the team. Can't wait to see you more and more. It's gonna be fun. Tony, as usual, it's always a pleasure getting with you on Sunday and talking some football knowledge with you guys. So I'm sure we'll do it again next Sunday. But first, we want to talk about Crowd Play. Make sure you're downloading them at the Google Play and Apple App Store. Download the box when you sign up and get 10 free points. But if you don't know what we're talking about, check it out. Crowd Play. So, for myself, Hamilton Michaeletta, Tony Quigley, and Anthony Medio, thank you for watching us. We appreciate it. We will see you next time. See ya. Man, that's right. It's last time we're on for Christmas. So, Merry Christmas, guys. Happy New Year. We will see you next week. See ya.
Merry Christmas.
Ho, ho, ho.
Make that money.
Thank you for watching the Sports Box. Follow us on Facebook at Sports Box Show, Twitter at Sports Box Show, Instagram at The Sports Box Show. Find us on YouTube and join Outside the Box, our Facebook sports discussion group. The Sports Box is brought to you by our friends at Crowd Play. Download the free Crowd Play app today and use promo code THEBOX at sign up for 10 points. See you next time.